Welcome to the Ministry of Fun, a bit of lore, myths and legends of gods and heroes. I'm Lady Fifi and I've come here to have some fun with you guys. I've been so bored in this lockdown time. Really, nowhere to go to. No years and centuries to travel through. No long forgotten lands and planets to travel to. Just sitting around in this tent of mine in these coronavirus times. Oh, I know. You all also have been under house arrest, right? I mean, no school to go to, no parks, no outdoor games, no friends coming over, no going over to friends' houses. So that's why I thought this is a great time to bring you into my world of myths and stories and tales. After all, I have so many to tell you. I've been living for, I don't know, so many years, thousands of years, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000? No, 10,000 maybe, who knows, I've lost count. There have been so many civilizations all over the world, some we are aware of and some we are not even aware of. And they all have their own myths and legends, some still alive, some long forgotten and buried. Anyway, I have in this chest a treasure of stories of gods and heroes, kings and queens, giants and monsters and other magical creatures. But first, I have to introduce you to my friend, this chest. Draago. Draago is a very sly dragon, and he keeps all the stories hidden within the fire that rages inside him. Only I know how to get the stories out of his fire. Draago? Hi, Draago. I'm going to open you now. Oh, easy boy, easy. It's just Lady Fifi. Come now, let me have a look what you have in here. We have Aztec, Maya, Indus, Mesopotamian, Indian, Roman, Assyrian, and Chinese, Egyptian, Japanese. But Draago insists that we start with the Greek civilization. A little bit of lore from ancient Greece. Once upon a time, a very long time ago, before man, woman, creature, time, or for that matter even before Earth was created, there was nothing. There was just a big black mass called chaos. And chaos was a really old woman. Gigantic and powerful, with thick, luscious grey hair falling in curls, covering her entire sultry body. She sat on a mammoth throne, a black and gold throne. The throne was our entire universe. And she sat there. Just sat. Had always been just sitting there. And now she was tired and a bit bored, and she wanted to create something. So she yawned. A long yawn. And as she yawned, from her mouth sprang forth Erebus and Nyx. Erebus, the dark god of darkness, and Nyx, the sultry goddess of the night. And they both started revolving around chaos. And as they were revolving, they fell in love. And they gave birth to 6 children. Ether, the divine god of air, Pontus, the sea god, Hemera, the day goddess, Tartarus, the god of the underworld, Eros, the god of love, and Gaia, the goddess of earth and fertility. This is how earth, sky, sea, love, and hell was created. Now as Gaia was floating around, one of the children, Gaia, Mother Earth, as she was floating around in the darkness, she drifted away from her brothers and sisters, and she got a little lonely and she wanted some company, somebody to play with. So she created Uranus, the sky god. This is the family tree. Have a look at it. The family tree of chaos. Oh, we have company. Hello, Olive. This is Olive. Say hi. No, we're not interested in saying hi. But maybe a piece of cheese will lure her. Come here. Gods, like mortal men, could be punished or rewarded for their actions. The magical world of the Greek gods was a world filled with mystery, intrigue, deceit, heroism, adventure, and fun. There were jealousies and betrayals, challenges, and of course, love. Each god represented a natural force or symbolized a virtue or a characteristic. So very much like the 33 million gods in Hinduism and Indian mythology. In fact, there is a lot of similarity between some of our Indian gods and the Greek gods. But that's another day. Right now, the story of
Gaia and Uranus.
Gaia, the goddess of earth, of fertility, was a beautiful, young, loving goddess. She was happily married to Uranus and they both lived up in the sky. But one day, Gaia ran to Uranus and she said, "You know what? I'd forgotten. I'm the goddess of earth, of fertility, and there down lies my earth, barren. I want to go down and make the world beautiful." So she flew down to earth, stood in the center of the earth, clasped her hands and took a deep breath. And as she exhaled, trees and plants, shrubs and bushes and grass and creepers grew all over the world. It covered the entire earth. But it was white as Gaia's white flowy robes. She said, "Oh no, this is not very pleasant." So she clasped her hands and took another deep breath and wished that her robes would turn into 100 shades of green. And lo and behold, her robes turned into 100 shades of green, from hunter's green to spring green to lime green to mint green to fluorescent green. And then she twirled and twirled and twirled on her toes 100 times, and all the shades of green flew out of her robes into nature. And nature turned into 100 shades of green, and now it looked beautiful. Then she took another deep breath, and as she exhaled, fruits and flowers, vegetables and nuts and herbs grew and blossomed and bloomed. She was delighted. She looked up at the sky and smiled at Uranus. Uranus looked down and smiled at her, and he flew down and took her in his arms. And then the both of them danced to the music of the universe. And as they danced, swirling and laughing, happy and proud, mountains and lakes and oceans and seas and rivers and clouds and the seasons spring and autumn and winter and summer were created. They both were very happy. And then Gaia gave birth to 12 children called the Titans. They were gods and goddesses, 6 male and 6 female. Gaia was all the time with her children, feeding them, playing with them, teaching them their duties and responsibilities. They were all gods and goddesses or something or the other, and they would have to take up the responsibilities one day. And Uranus was having fun with them, taking them hunting, and in his sky chariot, he took them for rides across the sky. But then Gaia gave birth to 3 Cyclopes. They were savage, one-eyed giants, and she also gave birth to 3 Hechatonkeries. They were monsters with 50 heads and 100 hands. Uranus was furious. He hated the ugly monsters. To tell you the truth, I think he was a little scared of them. But so he decided they had to go. The Cyclopes and the Hechatonkeries had to. So one night when Gaia was sleeping with her 12 Titan children, Uranus crept into the room of the Cyclopes and the Hechatonkeries, and he packed them all in a bag, and he ran out of the palace to the edge of the sky. He took the bag over his head and swung it round and round and round and threw it down into Tartarus. Now Tartarus was hell and the dungeon of the gods, and the god of Tartarus was also called Tartarus, and he told Tartarus, "Don't you ever let them be free." And then he went to his palace and went to sleep. When Gaia heard, she was devastated and furious. She ran to her Titan children and said, "Obey me, O my children, obey me. The vile outrage of your father must be punished." All the children started trembling. So scared were they of their father Uranus, except Cronus, the god of time, the youngest of the Titans. He looked up at his mother and said, "I'm not seized by fear. I will obey you, mother." So Gaia and Cronus hatched a plan. So one night when Uranus was sleeping on his bed, Cronus was hiding under the bed, crept out stealthily without making a single sound, and he wounded Uranus. Uranus ran out of the palace into the sky, screaming like a wild, wounded bull. And he turned and looked at Cronus and said, I curse you! What you have done to me, what you have done to me, will be done to you too. Cronus laughed. Cronus laughed. But little did Cronus know that the curse of Uranus would indeed come true one day. From the blood of the wounds that fell upon the earth rose a race of monstrous beings and ash nymphs.
And the Furies. The Furies were the nymphs of curses and vengeance.
And a part of Uranus fell down into the sea, and it produced a white, frothy foam.
And from that arose Aphrodite, the goddess of love.
Now with Uranus dead, Cronus with his Titan brothers went down to Tartarus and saved his brothers, the Cyclopes and the Hechatonkeries, and got them back up. Gaea was happy now that all her children were safe with her, and in her happiness she created human beings on the earth. And what a beautiful time, those human beings. Nobody had to work, nobody ever fell ill, they just ate the fruits and nuts and herbs that grew, they danced and laughed and played and slept. Cronus proclaimed himself the king of the gods, and the golden age started. He married Rhea, and they had many children called the Olympians, the Olympic gods and goddesses. And she also gave birth
to Zeus. And Zeus would do to Cronus
what Cronus did to Uranus, and the prophecy of Uranus would indeed come true. That was an interesting story, wasn't it? But unfortunately with this, now we come to the end of today's story. But I will come every Sunday with a new story for you. Now, it's tarot card reading time. Let's see what the cards predict for the next story. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And here we have a spread, and I will choose 2 cards. This card says the story of Hercules the next time. And this card says, I have to teach you a Greek recipe. Yes. So I'm going to teach you a Greek recipe next time after we finish the story. So keep ready, all these things, so we can cook it together.
1 liter thick curd, 1 small cucumber, 2 cloves garlic, 1 teaspoon chopped dill, salt, 2 6-inch bowls, 2 10 by 10 cheesecloth, a grater and 2 spoons. Now hang the curd in a cheesecloth for 4 hours to remove excess whey. Grate the cucumber and hang in a cheesecloth to remove excess juice. Apply the juice on your face for a glowing skin.
So now, ta-ta from Lady Fifi, Draago and Olive. I'll catch you next Sunday. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Bye.